somebody who's open to the wonder of the world. It's also a good resilience thing, because it's fucking awesome.
Yes.
You can be feeling as shit as possible. If you live here on the Bellarine, like you can go into the ocean at any time. Like how amazing is that?
I know. It's
That's
extraordinary.
an active experience.
Yes, it is.
You can be like immersed in this body of water that literally connects the entire planet with each other.
Yes.
Like every single person.
Yes.
In some capacity.
I love that you could be swimming in someone's residual pee from the other side of the world.
Connected.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great. I love that. Well, that to me sounds like you had this awareness before your babes were earthside. And I'm interested, like, do you attribute that to your parents or you just,
Yeah, I think honestly with so many things in my life, 100%, the way I was raised gave me a big heads up. Like if I talk to people, you know, about their childhood and the things that they, you know, the values that they were raised with, because that's what they saw modeled.
Yes.
Then I really feel like I had a big head start from a lot of people. Like just growing up, I grew up in like a Camp Hill community, which is like a Steiner boarding school.
Okay.
Went to Steiner schools. Like we grew up in a house. So the boarding schools of Camp Hills are for people with disabilities. So, I mean, it's very normal in Germany. You have big houses. You have, within those houses, you have kind of multiple apartments.
Right.
So in a big house, we had an apartment as a family. I'm the eldest of 3. And then all the other rooms, they had like different sections. There was the carers and the people with disabilities all living under the same roof.
Okay.
So I don't know how many, like 50 people in the house, right? And then there was 3 houses, so it was very much kind of like a commune within a small village anyway. Then we had like a big kitchen garden that was all biodynamic because it was, you know, a Steiner thing. And like went to Steiner schools. I was a home birth. My sisters were born at home. That was very normal in Germany. That wasn't even specific to the Steiner community.
Yeah, you didn't have to specify that, whereas here it's super fringe.
Yeah. And as soon as things become fringe, I feel like, you know, there's problems anywhere, but
well, there's a big fear propaganda machine that, you know, is, and people that haven't experienced home birth, I think, to be fair, don't get it. You don't get it until you've done it. You can have ideas, but once you've done it, then you're like, holy shit, why are more people not doing this? And how do we help people understand the power of it? I've always thought you don't know your own power until you've birthed in a, you know,
in a self-control.
Yeah, that's right, where you ultimately are the decision maker on what's happening. So that sounds like an incredible way to grow up. Are they still in existence in Germany?
They exist in every single continent of the world.
Really?
Except Australia.
I was going to say they're not here.
They tried one in, I think it was New South Wales. But so, yeah, I feel like with kind of sort of intentional communities, there's obviously a lot of people that, you know, really want, you know, the benefits of that it's a values-based decision. And then like with most human things, humans love fucking shit up. So then you just often will have a lot of kind of like, well, I'm holier than thou.
Yeah.
You know, like I know I'm doing more things more like the right way than you are. And the message gets a bit lost. And I think that's
a transactional thing.
Yeah. I think that it was a bit lost to kind of stuff like that. Whereas,
well, I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to go full circle with this though, because as we talk about this idea of narrowing our focus to community, food supply, all the other things that we have traditionally been certain of, but now are going to, I think, come into a place of uncertainty. People will look to narrow their field and probably create these communities.
Yeah.
But the first ones in Australia are going to have the hardest time.
Yeah.
Because the system's not set up to support that, right?
Yeah, and I mean that's very specific because we all lived together.
Yeah.
I think that takes a certain level of commitment. Whereas sort of an interdependent community can still exist. If everyone has their kind of own space, or like I don't know that I would necessarily commit to like commune style living. I quite enjoy my home as a private space.
I can totally appreciate that. And I mean, people can on the surface seem like they're aligned, and then little decisions will just shit you. And in some ways it's actually very telling of where you're at too. And I mean, I think that it's not necessarily that we're not suited to it, but we're sort of used to we're programmed to how we live. So we almost need a stepping stone where you have
a model,
essentially, or little silos that kind of all congregate together and have, a common intention behind that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful way to grow up, because I think where I was interested with that was I was a late bloomer to this awareness, and I'm not even sure if there was a pivotal moment that shifted for me, but I do know I injured my back when I was still working in ambulance, and it should have been a career-ending injury. And
who was your youngest then?
No kids.
Oh, before?
No kids. We just got married, so we're going on 20 years ago when this happened. And
but you went back to working.
I went back to ambulance because, I thought some white coat telling me I was going to give up my career. I was like, fuck, I'm giving up my career. I loved my job. Right. So there was something that happened organically that sat within me that I started working out. I think I'll take my own advice.
Yeah.
Option C.
Yeah.
Right. But lots of people don't know that.
Yeah.
We're so indoctrinated to get the white coat advice.
Yeah.
And we come back to that direction and permission thing in society. So when you haven't been that person and you're trying to wean yourself off society's teat, society's nipple, it's an interesting thing. But one thing, if we circle back to say the thing about resilience in kids, I often think resilience in kids is kids that know something like is tough, but walk in open eyes, not go in, with the cattle prod behind them, but go in going, all right, this shit feels hard, but I'm going to have another go, right?
Yeah.
And they work through it and they recruit help or whatever they do, right? But the thing that has been the game changer for me is hopping into the observer space. So those moments where I want to say something and I go, just shut up for a second and see what happens. Yeah. I mean, I've seen that with my kids and how they interact, and where I think I have to step in as a parent with spaciousness, they hop in and they kind of parent each other or mentor each other. I'm like, okay, they're getting it. Like they're getting the higher perspective, they call them out and say, that's not acceptable community behaviour when they're acting atrociously. They say, go and regulate yourself outside, and I'm like, okay, all is not lost. Like we've got some chance. We'll still be stuck if we have to grow our own food. Like we'll be getting really good
walking distance. You don't need to worry.
That's it. We can never move. Basically, we have to stay here forever. But yeah, I think that those moments. I mean, do you think it's enough that there's enough kids out there? There's something about this generation where they're calling bullshit on all the stuff anyway. I think that's why we're seeing so many kids with labels, so many kids who are doing school refusal now and they're spirited or whatever, but they're like, no, I'm not doing that bullshit that you've told me I have to do. I feel like in a generation we're going to see this. Like we've almost got the answer that we need for this death cycle that has been birthed in this next generation. Do you see that with the kids? I'm not thinking your kids who have benefited from a mother who is just hooked into the good stuff already, right? But you're coming in with kids who, in that space at the farm where they come and they learn from the other kids on what's cool and what's not, at that space.
Yeah.
Do you see that the kids are coming in with this awareness of what is needed at an elementary level?
Yeah, yes, I kind of feel like every generation presents that possibility. And how we kind of allow that is, that's like our role as parents.
Yeah.
I think that like we know instinctively what's right and what's not right. And like you said, we just get told by somebody,
Yeah.
no, you shouldn't think that, you shouldn't feel that.
Yes.
That's not right. But you're just being gaslit. But you probably also know you're being gaslit, or you feel shit about it. It doesn't sit right. I think we all have that. We all have that capacity. I think the older you get, the more comfortable you get, the more unwilling to change, maybe.
Unwilling to die.
Yeah. You feel
to go through the learning.
More to lose. Like maybe it's also that the way that the world is working, each generation has less to lose. Like it is becoming, tighter and tighter for people. Like, even, people 10 years older than me had very different world experiences. Certainly in terms of, food security, financial security than people 10 years younger than me do. So maybe,
they're not
like,
meant
what
to.
are you going to lose?
Yeah.
Like, if you call people's bullshit, what are you going to lose?
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of standing to lose at this point anyway.
Well, I mean, the best things in life literally are free. Like the sun is still free. Water is still free. Connecting in with the trees is still free. Growing your own food is relatively free, right? I mean, it's all possible. You need some knowledge. You need, you need some cultivation of fertility and understanding the cycles. But all those things actually are still freely given, aren't they, in our world with, in a broad sense. So perhaps that's why things are becoming unaffordable in a material sense.
Yeah. Maybe.
You don't sound convinced.
Well, I think that, like, yes, 100%. Maybe it's like a bit like the Maslow scale. Yes, 100%. Fundamentally, what we need from each other is free. We don't need transactional relationships. But at the same time, I think it would be unfair to people to say, that you don't need a certain level of security of housing, food, water, income to be able to, raise people a certain way. Like, I feel like financial stress plays a massive part on your capacity to parent. Like, if you're having to think about, how am I going to pay this bill? That's where your life force is going, rather than how can I hold space for this child, or what is it that they need from me right now? And I think,
or how can I bring any fun in our relationship? Right. Just go kick a ball outside, and that's the stuff that kids remember. Yes. They don't remember whether you went to Bali or the beach for summer.
No, absolutely not. And definitely the presence over presence, and 100%. But I do, because I kind of sway between like being hyper judgmental and hyper accepting. And
I love that, because I am judgmental too.
Well, I think it's a natural thing. I think if you can, and sometimes that's good, because sometimes people really fucking need to be judged.
Yeah.
Or not judged, but like held accountable.
Yeah.
But then, you also need to kind of get yourself to a point where you can be compassionate as to how they ended up in that situation in the first place. But I think that I personally feel like I see parents be just really, really, really more stressed in general, and very kind of like, when your stress kind of vibrates up, and you're kind of like this, and you're completely almost like disembodied. You're not able to engage, you're not able to focus, you're not able to hold space. I feel like I see a lot more of that. And a part of me is like, oh, fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And the other part is like, okay, like, what are these people dealing with? Like, in the last year or so, the amount of money people need to fork out for mortgages, like what that does to their personal stress levels, that is real.
Yes, it is.
Like, I go to the supermarket, and that stress of like, what we spend on 7 people is real.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah, so you pop in for a couple of things and you walk out $200 lighter, and you're like, how did that happen?
Yeah. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And I feel like, we live very simply. So I can imagine people who came in with high expectations.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't matter what you think of their values. They have them, and that stress is real, and it affects their children. And then, all these things just kind of roll down. Yeah. They get wedged in your body. Like, that's how children remember things. That becomes their childhood. All my parents were always fucking stressed about flying to Bali or whatever it may be. Like, I think we also need to acknowledge the what is.
Absolutely.
I think that and I think you have to kind of go through these phases to get often to an end point of going, well, actually, they probably just prefer you to like go for a walk rather than buy them XYZ. But I think that if you're in that situation of not being able to buy XYZ, you feel like you should have to buy XYZ, and you don't, it's a position of empowerment to go, well, I know that they don't actually need all this stuff. Like, that comes from an empowered place. And I think that because we live in such a materialistic culture, not having that, not being in that empowered space or being in a like less empowered space is very stressful and 100% affects parenting and the joy of it.
Well, I did not enjoy parenting. I quite like being pregnant. No, I like giving birth. So I worked that bit out. But yeah, I completely. And I was always just consigned to, I'm just not going to be the fun mum. Yeah. But as I notice that stuff and I start noticing where is the addiction and is it real or is it gifted? And the materialism thing is a big one, right? Yeah. That providing and materialism is a big one. And I start farking the shoulds and going, as soon as I hear should, I go red flag. Yeah. It really helps me. Yeah. And it's made me a funner mum. Yeah. Probably not as fun as my kids think I could be, of course, but, definitely a better version. Yeah. But the thing is, when that happens, oh my God, life is so great. Yeah. You actually enjoy your kids because they're actual individuals, not just like little sponges, but they've come in with their own mindset, their own gifts, their own things to learn. Yeah. And then I suppose part of that, circling back to what you said, was that pronoia. I knew I was going to get it wrong. Yeah. Yeah, pronia. Yeah. So the pronia, if you think about the pronia and you are always supported, wow, like what a way to live. So I suppose if you were going to gift that to to people, if you were going to give any gift, the gift of pronia. Jesus.
Like pronia. Pronia.
I know. I know
you add all the
I just went yeah. The gift of the pronia is that there is wisdom in everything that occurs. And sometimes we architect it and sometimes it's gifted to us. But there is always some element of being held in that love space. So how beautiful. I would like to wish that for our community at large.
Yeah. Well, maybe also like just the gift of being able to choose joy.
Yeah.
It's a conscious act.
Yeah.
Like, you can choose it.
Yeah.
Not always like gracefully. And sometimes you can't. That's okay.
Well, sometimes there's something that needs to express itself. Yeah. And once that expresses itself, then there is actually spaciousness for the joy.
Yeah. But I think, also what we talked about before with, things exist in cycles. And like I've noticed now with, teenage kids, like teaching them about cycles is really helpful. Like, when I'm feeling really shit, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, feeling shit is part of being human.
Yeah.
Nobody feels good all the time. But that will pass.
Yeah.
Because that's just a feeling. Like, that's not really who you are. Like, you're not your feelings. You feel your feelings. And then you move through the different cycles. And embracing cycles, I think that is so important for resilience, teaching women about their cycles. Have you heard like the teaching of like your cycle is kind of like the 4 seasons?
Yeah.
Your
I know, I love that.
Winter.
Yeah.
And then you're coming into ovulation and the spring energy and then full bloom and then you kind of go into an autumn. Like that's, however the seasons are, because, we have different seasons down here too. Like it all exists in seasons. Like you can just move through things and know that something else is coming down the road.
Yeah, and you can just register that without trying to fix or auto-correct it.
Yeah.
And there's a real power in that because, again, it's a level of not trying to manipulate the surroundings around you. Like there's an acceptance in that. And all of it has purpose.
Yeah.
Like without the winter, then how is there the time for the energy to build, to move into the spring of new life?
Yeah.
So
and
we
who
actually
wants
need that.
to be it's impossible to be full blooming all the time.
Absolutely. That'd be exhausting. Yeah, no, give me some winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the rest phase for women is really important.
Well, we don't do that.
No.
At all.
No.
Really. We just we fill it with rest that's not necessarily nourishing.
No.
I call it yoga with parentheses because a lot of it is just lying around breathing. I'm like, if this is yoga, then and I can have a yoga body, sweet. Pretty good to me. Yeah, that's right. Breathe harder, baby. But it is, I mean, it's part of that. And what I realise is even though I feel fairly evolved and aware of, what the real goodness is in life, even taking time for that, just to allow the adrenals to drop, just to connect in with, Mother Nature's energies, it's so powerful and rejuvenating, like far better than sleeping. I just think, and that's just so available, you could just literally just concentrate on your breath and feel better, so.
That actually reminds me of something that I was going to say in the beginning, which is that I feel like if we were to pass down information to younger mothers, probably the biggest thing that's helped me in mothering has been learning to recognize a dysregulated nervous system and to consciously calm the nervous system. And there's this awesome lady, of course I'm not going to remember the name right now, who's on Instagram. What's her name? Whatever, I'll remember it later. But she's a lovely woman, also like an old woman. She has kind of grown kids now, who does a lot of kind of like home birth and home ed support stuff, like in America, who talks about the fact that children aren't able to regulate their own nervous system. They can only co-regulate. And how many people do you know have a regulated nervous system?
Not many.
Don't even fucking know they have a nervous system, they don't know what that kind of hyper arousal feeling. They just probably think it's stress, and that's just part of life or part of having a little kid.
It's the deal. That's right.
Right, and there's nothing really that you can do, with a sense of agency about that feeling. That's just an external feeling, that is gifted to you in the worst kind of way.
Yes.
I feel like how would motherhood change if we were taught that from the beginning?
Yeah.
Like that would be such a different experience.
So you could think of that essentially as a primary care responsibility, just like feeding and clothing your child is 100%. This co-regulation, so that you actually take radical responsibility for regulating your own stress, which in turn then helps your child regulate their stress.
Because you see it so much kind of played out in different scenarios where it's this kind of like upward, heightened stress, tension, out of controlness between the child and the parent.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did learn fairly, early in motherhood is if you give your child what they need, they don't need to ask for it.
Yeah.
And the only way that, say a baby can communicate anything is by crying.
That's right.
If you're able to give them what they need, they're not
pretty basic equation, isn't it?
Yeah. We're not taught any of these
No,
things.
we're not.
And we're so disconnected we're so peer focused coming out of the school system. And I had kids young. I didn't know anyone else with little kids. I didn't have anyone to give me advice, even that was just a few years ahead of me or something, So you're all based on this kind of like peer-based system, which, and then the mothers group end up just being fucking trauma groups.
Like, of course they are. I know.
Sleep. Oh my God, me neither.
Yeah.
And you don't have any kind of wisdom, of hindsight to go, well, this was really helpful, or this was really helpful. And then we've also set up this system in which offering advice is seen as like a criticism of you. Oh, yeah, I'm offering this advice because you're shit, and I'm not. Right?
Watch so me for how to get it right. That. Yeah, they do.
You can like that as opposed to just being like, amazing. Like, this is somebody who's been through it. Is this information useful to me? Yes, no, cool, or not.
So do you, I'm cycling back round because I think it'd be a neat way to close the conversation. When we think about obviously what's happening organically at the farm and with these mothers that come in, do you think that's that sort of less formal conversation and the side-by-side conversation, which is very much a masculine way of communicating, to be side-by-side rather than front-on?
For women too.
Yeah, but I think we're in a masculine world, so we've actually that it's like the guard is up. So you can't do this because it's too full on for people, especially when you're talking advice. So when the advice is offered side by side, somehow there's like this allowance for it to kind of, sort of sit with the person and they can adopt it if they feel it's right for them. I mean, are you finding that's an effective way to help mentor these parents? And they do need mentoring because it hasn't been available. It hasn't been shown to them. They haven't grown up in those environments. We're all very isolated. We're all very material driven. And we're essentially doing damage to our relationships with our children, whom we consciously brought into the world based on this programming, So there's a lot to unpack. I mean, people know not what they do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's, I personally always prefer to have some sort of practical element to things. I feel like otherwise you fall, like a lot of women's circles in my experience just end up being kind of like navel gazing or sort of like like an emotional dumping ground. Like I prefer to have a practical element to it. That's one thing.
Yes.
Because like, even traditionally, if women are sitting around together, we're doing something pragmatic. Like I remember in Kenya, I used to cook with my mother-in-law, and she'd give me the best advice. And we'd be cooking at the same time, and so I'd have a lot of like this wisdom given to me, and at the end of it, we'd have a meal. Like we weren't just sitting around just fluffing.
And staying in your old story.
Yeah.
There's something, I guess what you're doing is you're doing a creative activity, right?
Yeah.
You're working with the environment, you're growing veggies, you're cooking, you're turning veggies into food, whatever it might be. So I think we could spend a whole nother podcast talking about even lessons from Kenya and the mother-in-law. I mean, that sounds like a rich, untapped topic too.
Indeed.
So how would you like to close out this conversation? Because I'm sure there'll be another one. What would you say? Because I think you're identifying the fact that there are mothers out there who need this information, and I want that for them too, because at some point it's going to be like cats in the cradle where they wake up and they're like, how come Junior doesn't want to, have a relationship with me? It's like, well, because you architected this. Okay. What do you want to say to them? What's something that you would say to them?
That we all can lean into as part of our community, as part of growing, as part of like our own nervous system regulation, is to spread love.
That's nice.
Like you see a lady at a supermarket who's holding a baby.
Yep.
Put the fucking food on the thing for her.
Yes.
Like, help her. If you see someone looking stressed out, just help them.
Yes.
If you see a mum at a fucking intersection, stop the fucking car.
Yes.
Let her cross the road.
Yes.
This shit is not hard.
No,
it is not hard, my friends.
It's novel, apparently.
It is not novel.
Yeah.
It should not be novel. Like doing the right thing is good for everybody.
Yes.
Like, being loving to other people is good for you.
Oh, it is.
Selfish.
Oh, my God. I love this. This has been our final episode for 2025. So what? I love it. You have just brought in the goods for this conversation. It's been so beautiful. I love it. So go with love, beautiful Quanta folks, because it's not that hard. And support our young mums because it sucks balls, man. Like it is the hardest time in our current society. It is the hardest time.
And most isolating.
Absolutely. I mean, I was at my worst when I had young kids, and they're so great at that age.
Yeah. It could be really fun.
They're so deliciously interested in everything, which we see just as hardship, but it's just the best. And you spend the rest of the time trying to cultivate that excitement in them again, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. I knew I'd love this conversation. Quanta folks, we'll probably, spam you with old episodes in the intervening weeks, but that is a wrap for 2025. Thanks for being the ultimate climax, Riona. We all had a happy ending. Until next time, Quanta folks, be well. We'll talk to you very soon. Hey Quanta folks, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Birth is transformational. And it can be transformational in the right way and in the not so right way. So how do we arm ourselves to be really prepared for this incredible experience? Well, you wouldn't go out and run a marathon without any kind of training. You'd at least do occasional stretches, and the High Vibe Birth course, which is self-paced, available at the QuantiMama.com website, is available for you. You get to luxuriate in all of the ideas and transformational techniques and the beautiful information that can only have a positive effect on your birth. So get fit for your birth marathon and head to QuantiMama for the High Vibe Birth course. Beautiful Quanta folks. At QuantiMama, we have a mandate that we feel so passionate about. We want and we are raising the community's vibration and frequency and consciousness through parenting and birth experiences. Such incredible, transformational experiences that will shape you as a person and are the very fabric of life. Do you want to find out how to high vibe your experience even more? Then QuantiMama is your place. Head there for the High Vibe Birth course, ultimate preparation for birthing. Head there if you want to re-engage your child in the love of learning for the Take the Leap course, which is a deschooling course for parents. There's beautiful mind movies, and obviously this podcast is there, and we are here to support you. So head there for all the juice.